Hello students, welcome to this online video lecture. This online lecture is conducted by Rayat Shikshan Samstha Satara, Sadguru Gadge Maharaj College Karad under the ROSE project. Myself, Mrs. Zadge SR, conducting here the 6th lecture from the topic Reproduction in Lower and Higher Plants. In previous lecture, we have completed different concepts like outbreeding devices, pollen-pistil interaction, artificial hybridization and double fertilization process. Okay. Now in today's lecture we are going to see further events which are carried out after post fertilization. So after fertilization the zygote is developed and this zygote converts into embryo, and the primary endosperm nucleus which is formed by the fusion of secondary nucleus and second main gamete, that is converted into primary endosperm nucleus, and from that the endosperm is formed inside this ovule. So these developmental changes we have to see here. So first post fertilization event we have to see, that is development of the endosperm, and here the triploid primary endosperm nucleus PEN, it is dividing mitotically to form the nutritive tissue that is known as the endosperm, and then this endosperm nourishes the developing embryo. So first of all, in this post fertilization events the development of endosperm is taking place, and side by side embryo development is also taking place. First we have to study how the development of endosperm is taking place. So according to the development of endosperm, there are three types of endosperm we can found. Out of that, the first type of endosperm, that is known as the nuclear type of endosperm. So what are the different characteristic features in the development of nuclear type of endosperm, that we will see first. So first type is nuclear endosperm. Here it is the most common type of endosperm formation which is observed in the angiospermic plants, and here the primary endosperm nucleus undergoes free nuclear division. That means this primary endosperm nucleus divides mitotically, and there is only free nuclear division is taking place at first, and there is formation of large number of triploid nuclei inside this ovule. So here firstly the free nuclei will be formed after the mitotic division of this primary endosperm nucleus, and then afterwards there is cell wall formation takes place between these nuclei to form cellular mass. So what happens, you see here students, first of all the primary endosperm nucleus is dividing and it is showing only karyokinesis, that means it is showing free nuclear division, and afterwards there will be cytokinesis, that means cell wall formation is taking place around all the nuclei which are formed, and there is a formation of cellular endosperm. So firstly it is forming nuclear endosperm, and then there is formation of cellular endosperm, and hence the name given here is known as the nuclear endosperm. So let us see here how this is taking place. The plants like maize, sunflower and wheat are showing such type of development in the endosperm, that is nuclear type of endosperm. So let us see in the diagram here. First you can see here this is the ovule, and inside ovule this is known as a oospore, that we can call it as also zygote, and this is the primary endosperm nucleus. You can see here this is the central primary endosperm nucleus. This primary endosperm nucleus divides mitotically, and there is formation of large number of nuclei inside this ovule. You can see here these are the number of nuclei forming endosperm, but firstly this endosperm is of nuclear type because only karyokinesis is taking place, there is no cytokinesis, and afterwards the third developmental stages, you can see here around each nucleus cell wall formation is taking place, and the nuclear endosperm is getting converted into cellular endosperm. But firstly the nuclei are dividing freely, and therefore such type of endosperm is known as the nuclear endosperm. This is the first type of endosperm, dividing here free nuclear division, and later on cell wall formation is taking place. Okay. Now related to this nuclear endosperm, one point we have to note here, that coconut. Already all students have known about the coconut. In coconut, it has multicellular endosperms in its outer part, that is surrounding white kernel. That means white colored structure that we eat or that can be used for the preparation of many food items. In that coconut we can use, that is white part of that coconut. It is nothing but the multicellular endosperm, and the central water which is present in the coconut, that we can call it as a coconut water, that is known as a free nuclear endosperm, which is present in the center. So in the early developmental stages in the coconut, all the endosperm it is of free nuclear type, but later on the surrounding endospermic cells are showing cell wall formation, and therefore surrounding white kernel it is showing multicellular endosperm, and remaining endosperm which is present at the center it is of free nuclear type. That is tender coconut is it is showing coconut water, which is nothing but the free nuclear endosperm, that we have to remember. Okay, so this is first type of the nuclear endosperm. Now the second type according to the mode of the development, that is known as the cellular endosperm. Here name itself indicates that the endospermic cells after dividing they are showing cell wall formation, and therefore the name is given here cellular endosperm. So here the primary endosperm nucleus undergoes nuclear division and immediately it is followed by cell wall formation. So what happens, you see here the primary endosperm nucleus divides and immediately there is formation of cell wall, and therefore it is known as a cellular endosperm. It is mostly observed in 72 families of the dicot plants. For example, balsam, petunia, adoxa, these are the some plants which are showing cellular type of endosperm. Now let us see in the diagram how this cellular endosperm will be formed. So here you can see the primary endosperm nucleus dividing into two cells, and there is a formation of cell wall in between those two cells. This is the first endospermic cell, this is the second endospermic cell, and this is the embryo. Okay, now after later on what happens here, the two cells which are formed by the division of this primary endosperm nucleus, these cells are dividing into number of cells, and all the cells are showing here cell wall formation immediately. So there are formation about here 6 to 7 cells, and all the endosperm which is developed it is showing cell wall formation, and hence it is called as a cellular endosperm. And finally all the endosperm which is developed it is showing cellular type like first type. Okay, so in this way here from first mitotic division cell wall formation or cytokinesis is taking place, hence the development of endosperm is called as a cellular endosperm. This is the second type. Now let us see the third type here, that is known as the halobial endosperm. It is a special type of endosperm which is observing in the monocot family Hilobi, and therefore the name is given here halobial endosperm. Now in this type what happens, you see the first division of primary endosperm nucleus it is followed by wall formation, means first one primary endosperm nucleus divides into two cells, and then there is a cytokinesis also taking place, that means wall formation is taking place, and as a result here the central primary endosperm cell it is dividing into two cells, larger micropylar cells and smaller chalizial cell. So one primary endosperm nucleus cell it is dividing into two cells, larger micropylar cell and smaller chalizial cell, and afterwards in both these cells what happens, you see in both these cells further development occurs as a nuclear type, and then wall develops between these nuclei. So afterwards what happens in between these two cells, that is larger micropylar cell and smaller chalizial cell, both these cells are showing here nuclear type of division at starting developmental stages, and afterwards the cell wall formation are taking place in between those nuclei, and hence such type of endosperm is intermediate between the cellular and nuclear, because at first it looks like cellular type of endosperm, but afterwards it is forming free nuclei in the larger micropylar cell and smaller chalizial cell, and afterwards cell wall formation is taking place, therefore it is known as It is intermediate type between the cellular and nuclear type of endosperm. Example here, Asphodelus or Hilobi series of the monocots. These plants are particularly showing here the developmental stages like Hilobial endosperm. Okay. Now let us see in the diagram here. This is the first stage, that the central primary endosperm nucleus you can see here. This is the embryo, that is called as a oospore, and this is the primary endosperm nucleus. Firstly, what happens, you see here, this primary endosperm nucleus divides into two cells. The larger cell is called as a micropylar cell and smaller cell is called as the chalizial cell. And here the cell wall formation is taking place during the first development. You can see here, this is the cell wall. Afterwards, what happens, both these cells are getting divided by mitotically and there is formation of free nuclei at first developmental stages, and later on there is cell wall formation is taking place and cellular type of endosperm will be formed. In this way, the development of the endosperm is taking place by both ways. First, it is a cellular to form two types of cells, larger micropylar and smaller chalizial. Second developmental stage, nuclear endosperm will be formed, and then again third developmental stage, cellular endosperm will be formed, and therefore it is known as the intermediate type between the cellular and nuclear. Okay. In this way, the three different types of endosperms will be formed in different types of angiospermic plants. Okay. Let us see here next point, that is the development of the embryo. Here the embryo is developed by the zygote or by the division of zygote. Embryo formation is taking place, that is known as the embryogenesis, and here embryo is developed at the micropylar end of the embryo sac. As we have seen during the double fertilization, egg apparatus is present at the micropylar end, and here the egg and male gamete fuses to form zygote which is present at the micropylar end. So developmental stages of the embryo are taking place at the micropylar end. So let us see in the diagram here. This is the structure of the embryo sac, and here you can see the micropylar end is showing formation of zygote. These are the degenerating synergids, and this is zygote. From zygote embryo will be formed, and this is primary endosperm nucleus from which the endosperm development is taking place. These are the degenerating antipodal cells which are present at the chalizial end. So further developmental stages in the embryo are taking place from the zygote. Okay, and then the first developmental stage here, zygote divides to form two-celled proembryo. So first developmental stage here, the zygote is dividing into two-celled proembryo. Let us see here. This is the zygote one-celled structure, and this zygote gets converted into two-celled proembryo. You can see here, this is upper cell and this is lower cell, or this is uppermost cell and this is lowermost cell. First cell and second cell, two cells are formed, and hence it is called as a two-celled proembryo. Further developmental changes are taking place in this two-celled proembryo. How it is taking place? That we have to see here. From this proembryo, the larger cell which is present towards the micropyle, it is called as a basal or suspensor initial cell. The larger cell, just we have seen in the diagram, that is known as a basal or suspensor initial cell, and smaller cell which is present towards the chaliza, it is known as the embryonal initial cell. Means what? Here from the larger micropylar cell which is known as a basal or suspensor initial cell, that is taking part in the formation of suspensor, and smaller chalizial cell which is known as a embryonal initial cell, that is forming as a embryo. So let us see here. These are the two cells. The larger micropylar cell, here you can see, this is larger micropylar cell which is known as a suspensor cell, and the smaller chalizial cell, it is known as the embryonal cell. From suspensor cell, suspensor is formed, and from embryonal cell, embryo is formed. So how the suspensor is formed? Here the suspensor cell is dividing transversely in one plane, and it is producing filamentous structure. It is called as a filamentous suspensor which is containing about 6 to 10 cells. Here the suspensor is dividing, suspensor cell is dividing transversely in one plane, and therefore it is showing filamentous structure, that is known as a filamentous suspensor, having 6 to 10 cells. And what is the function of this suspensor? It is helping in the pushing of embryo into the endosperm. When the suspensor is getting developed, at that time that suspensor's length is increasing because it is showing filamentous structure, and due to this elongated suspensor, the embryo is pushed inside the endosperm for the development. So let us see here the suspensor. Here this is the larger suspensor cell, and it is dividing into transverse in a one plane, and there is a elongated suspensor you can see here. This is called as a suspensor, and side by side here embryonal cell is also dividing, and it is showing globular type of embryo. You can see here this is a globular type of embryo will be formed from this embryonal cell. So side by side the developmental changes are taking place in both the cells, suspensor cell and embryonal cell. Okay. So finally here the embryonal initial cell undergoes 3 successive mitotic divisions to form octant. So that embryonal initial cell is undergoing 3 successive mitotic divisions to form octant, and from that octant cells, lower tier of 4 cells, it is giving rise to hypocotyledon radicle, and 4 cells of the upper tier are forming plumule and 1 or 2 cotyledons. So what happens after the 3 successive mitotic division from the embryonal cell? About 8 cells are formed here. How many cells are formed? 8 cells. Out of that, 4 cells are divided to form hypocotyledon radicle. Later on, root system will be formed from this, and remaining 4 cells are forming plumule-like structure and cotyledon-like structure, which are responsible for developing the shoot system. In this way, embryo development is taking place from this embryonal initial cell, and these cells in the octant stage are dividing into several planes to become heart-shaped embryo and then horseshoe-shaped embryo. So first of all, globular embryo will be formed. Afterwards, heart-shaped embryo will be formed, and finally, mature horseshoe-shaped embryo will be formed. So let us see in the diagram here. You can see here the development of the suspensor is taking place, and here you can see the heart-shaped embryo. This is known as a heart-shaped embryo. Okay. And afterwards, finally here the mature horseshoe-shaped embryo will be formed. You can see here this is the suspensor, and all the structures, that is radicle, plumule and cotyledon, are showing here horseshoe-shaped embryo, which is mature, and finally embryo development will be taking place. In this way, here we can see the development of embryo is taking place from first stage. Here you can see the only zygote is there inside the ovule, and from zygote 2-celled pro-embryo will be formed. From that upper cell, larger micropylar forming the suspensor, and lower chaliceal, that is embryonal cell. From suspensor cell, the suspensor will be formed, and from embryonal cell, this is the embryo. First it is formed globular embryos like structure, then it is forming heart-shaped embryo like structure, and finally mature horseshoe-shaped embryo. You can see here, likewise here in these different developmental stages, the final embryo will be formed in the ovule. Okay. So let us see both suspensor and embryo, how they are forming inside the ovule. So here the diagram is showing here anatropous ovule, showing the development of endosperm and embryo. So this is the structure of ovule that we have seen in previous some lectures. This is the micropyle, that is the opening of the ovule, and these are the integuments. This is the inner integument and outer integument. This is the part of the, that is the violet colored part here, that is endosperm, primary endosperm nucleus dividing to form endosperm, and here the embryonal cell is dividing into suspensor and embryo. Here orange colored structure you can see, this is the structure of suspensor, and a green colored structure is known as a embryo. In this way, inside the ovule, the endosperm and embryo development will be takes place, and finally the ovule is converted into seed after the development of this embryo and endosperm. Okay, so in this way, post-fertilization changes are taking place inside the ovule, and there is a development of endosperm and embryo is taking place. Okay. So let us see the NCERT points or NEET points related to this embryo. The first point here related to the dicot embryo here. The typical dicot embryo, it is showing two parts, that is an embryonal axis and two cotyledons, because dicot means two cotyledons are present in that embryo and embryonal axis is there. Let us see the diagram of this dicot embryo and the different points which are present inside the embryo. So this is the embryo which is present in the dicot seeds or dicot plants. Here are the two cotyledons are there and this is the embryonal axis. One by one we have to see the different points. So here the first part which is present above the cotyledons, the part of embryonal axis which is present above the cotyledons, it is known as the plumule. It is forming first epicotyl-like structure which is converted into plumule, and from plumule shoot system will be formed after seed germination. So this is the first part, plumule, which is a part of embryonal axis present above the cotyledons. Above the cotyledons a part is there, this is the plumule. It is forming epicotyl-like structure which converts into plumule and it is forming shoot system after germination of seed. Then second part here, two cotyledons we can see here. This is the first cotyledon and this is the second cotyledon. In this way dicot embryo is showing two cotyledons. Okay. Then third here part of the embryonal axis which is present below the cotyledons, it is known as a hypocotyl and it is responsible for formation of radicle which gives rise to root system in the plant. Okay. So this is the part of embryonal axis, hypocotyl, which is present below the cotyledons and it is forming radicle like structure from which the root is formed. So this is the radicle and the radicle is showing root cap at the tip. In this way the dicot embryo is formed inside the dicot plant. Okay. Now let us see here the structure about the monocot embryo or monocot seed. Here the maize seed we have to study. This is the structure of this maize seed and here particularly this maize is showing here endospermic seed. So here in this diagram we have to see endosperm and the embryo. So this is the first part, the larger portion, it is covered with the help of endosperm and the lower portion it is showing the development of the embryo here. So in this monocot embryo the cotyledon is present in the maize plant. One cotyledon is there and that cotyledon is known as a scutellum. Means in monocot or plants here the cotyledon is known as a scutellum. That point we have to remember. And in this scutellum or cotyledon the different parts we can see here, the uppermost part which is covering plumule, that is known as a coleoptile. So this is the upper covering or upper sheath. You can see this is upper covering or upper sheath which is enclosing epicotyl, that is plumule. This sheath is enclosing this structure, it is known as a plumule. From plumule shoot system will be formed inside the seed and this plumule is covered by a sheath which is known as a coleoptile. Okay. Afterwards the lower portion here is also showing one sheath like structure. This is this sheath like structure you can observe here. Let us see this sheath like structure which is known as a coleorhiza. This is lower sheath which is enclosing the hypocotyl which is covering the radicle and root cap. Okay. And this is the structure of radicle or root cap which is forming root like structure. So in this embryo in the monocot plant here we can see the cotyledon is present at the lowermost position and below the cotyledon here two sheaths are present, coleoptile and coleorhiza. Coleoptile is sheath covering the epicotyl or plumule and plumule is responsible formation of the shoot system, and the lowermost covering or sheath it is known as a coleorhiza which is responsible for covering the hypocotyl, that is radicle and root cap, and the radicle is responsible for formation of root system. In this way monocot embryo is showing here total 4 parts that we have to see. The first part we have seen the scutellum, that is cotyledon in the monocot plant, then coleoptile, plumule, radicle and coleorhiza. These parts are belonging to the embryo, and remaining part, remaining here uppermost part, it is belonging to endosperm. Those points we have to remember here. Okay. Now let us see the next point here, formation of fruits and seeds. During the developmental stages in the flower, when fertilization is taking place, and after post fertilization developmental stages, here the ovule is converted into seed and flower is converted into fruit. So what are the changes which are taking place in the fruits and seeds, that we have to see here. The first here, convergence after fertilization. So what structure is converted into which structure, that we have to see. First here, ovary is converting into fruit, that means flower is converting into fruit, and from flower particularly ovary is converting into fruit. Then ovary wall is converting into pericarp, that is known as a fruit wall. So ovary wall is converting into pericarp, that is fruit wall. Then third here, ovule is getting converted into seed. Next, the integuments which are present inside the ovule are converted into seed coats. And as we know, there are two integuments. Hence, two integuments are forming here two seed coats. Outer integument is forming outer seed coat, which is very hard. It is known as a testa. And inner integument is converting into inner seed coat, which is thin. It is known as a tegmen. So in this way, after post-fertilization events, the conversion of ovary is taking place into fruit, ovary wall is converting into pericarp, ovule is converting into seed, integuments are converted into seed coats, outer integument is converted into outer seed coat, which is hard, known as a testa. Inner integument, it is converting into inner seed coat, which is thin, known as a tegmen. In this way, the convergence we can observe after fertilization in the angiospermic plant. Okay. Now there are two types of seeds we can observe in these angiospermic plants. Some seeds are not having endosperm. Those are known as a non-endospermic seeds or non-albuminous seeds. So here, why endosperm is not occurring in that seeds? Because the endosperm is totally consumed during embryo development. So when the embryo development is taking place inside the ovule, at that time the endosperm is getting totally consumed. It is totally used for the embryo development, and hence therefore there is no endosperm in the seed. Such seeds are called as a non-endospermic seeds or non-albuminous seeds. And in these seeds, cotyledons are present, which are acting as a food storage organ, because there is no endosperm present in the seed, and hence cotyledons are responsible for storage of food. Here examples we can see: pea, bean, gram, groundnut, etc. All these seeds are showing non-endospermic structure or non-albuminous seeds. So let us see in the diagram the structure of this non-endospermic seed. Here you can see this is the embryo having epicotyl structure, hypocotyl structure, radicle and the seed coats. And these white colored central structures are known as the cotyledons here. Okay. So no endosperm you can see here in this dicot seed, or no endosperm is present in this type of seed. Hence it is known as a non-endospermic seed or non-albuminous seeds. The second type of seeds in which endosperm retains after the development of the embryo, such type of seeds are called as a endospermic seed. Means here the endosperm persists in mature seeds. Means after the development of embryo, the endosperm remains in that seed or remains in that ovule. Hence such seeds are called as a endospermic seed or albuminous seeds. And the endosperm is there, it is nourishing the embryo during the seed germination. So here there is a role of endosperm, that is nourishment of the embryo during the seed germination. Examples are here coconut, castor, sunflower, maize, wheat. So these are the different examples of the endospermic seed in which the endosperm is persisting in the mature seed. Let us see in the diagram here again the example here maize. You can see here, this is the structure of endosperm, means this endosperm is present in mature seed. This is the embryo and this is the endosperm, and endosperm is still present after the maturation of seed, and therefore such seeds are called as the endospermic seeds. So this is the difference between two types of seeds, that is non-endospermic seeds and endospermic seeds. The examples of these seeds which are very important for the examination point of view. Okay, now let us see the next point here. In some seeds the nucellus is persisting, and that is known as a perisperm. So here in some seeds such as black pepper or beet, the nucellus in the ovule may persist, means normally the nucellus is getting degraded or the nucellus is used during the development of the seed, but in some cases, for example here given black pepper and beet, the nucellus in the ovule is present after the maturation of seed, and such structure of the nucellus, it is known as a perisperm. Means in some seeds if nucellus is remaining after maturation, that nucellar structure is known as a perisperm. That we have to remember. Okay, now the related points from the fruit types which are given in the NCERT book, need points. The first here, true fruits. Types of fruits. True fruits, the fruits which are developed only from the ovary are known as true fruits. For example here, mango, mulberry, watermelon and citrus. These are the different plants which are showing fruit development only from the ovary. No other parts are involved in the fruit development, and hence such fruits are called as true fruits. The next point here, when the fruits are formed from ovary and other parts are also involved, then such type of fruits are called as false fruits. Here you can see in some fruits thalamus which is present above the stalk of the flower on which the different floral whorls are developed, that thalamus is contributing into the fruit formation. Then such fruits are called as false fruits. For example here, the apple, strawberry and cashew, these are the different fruits which are having the formation of fruit contributing the thalamus structure, and hence such fruits are called as false fruits. Okay, so these are the different points related to the NCERT book. Now let us see here the significance of seed and fruit formation. What are the different significance and seed and fruit formation that we have to see here. The first here, fruits are providing nourishment to the developing seeds. Means when the seeds are produced inside the fruit, when the fruit is getting matured, during that developmental stages, the fruits are providing nourishment to the developing seeds. Then fruits are protecting the seeds in immature condition, because the seeds are present inside the fruit, and therefore there will be protection of seeds inside the fruit. Then seeds serve as important propagating organs or units of plants. So when these seeds are sown in soil, these seeds are showing germination and there is a formation of new plant. So the seeds are serving as a important propagating organs or units of plants. Okay. Next, seeds and fruits develop special devices for their dispersal and thus help in distribution of the species. So what happens, you see here, seeds and fruits are developing special device mechanism for their dispersal, because some seeds and some fruits are having special characteristic features, special devices. With the help of these devices, they are dispersed from one place to another place, from animal or from human being or from any other sources, and therefore they get distributed all over the environment, all over the world, and the distribution of species is carried out with these special devices. Okay, so we will stop here in the remaining points that we have to study in the next lecture. Thank you for watching this lecture.